And Happy New Year! Welcome back to Conscious Evolution. I'm your host, AJ. It is January 1st, 2019. Happy New Year, everybody. Hope you had a good night. I had me a hell of a day yesterday. My goodness. And it was pretty rough. I'm not going to get into details, but wow. By the end of the night last night, I was laying in bed, essentially cussing out God, my spirit guides, my higher self, whatever you want to think of it as, source. I just didn't understand, I didn't understand. I didn't see the big picture in this, and I didn't know what I should do. I didn't know how to react to it. I didn't know. My first reaction was negative. It was combative. But, that's just... Anyway, so I was sitting there, talking to my higher self, essentially, that, I need help here, man. I need some guidance. I don't know what to do. And I was watching this YouTube video. Well, I wasn't watching it. I was trying to go to sleep. I couldn't go to sleep. I couldn't. These energies were really stirring inside of me. Excuse me. And so I was watching this video, and the girl was making a video, or she kept dropping the camera, and it was just really loud, and it was bothering me. So I clicked down. It was on the TV, so I clicked underneath and just picked the next video that was available. And it happened to be a video that directly answered my questions of what was going on with me. The video I actually made yesterday, or 2 days ago, when I didn't have the mic on. I played these videos through, and it was like a 45-minute video and didn't have any audio. So I watched this video here, Releasing Core Wounds and Connecting to Christ Consciousness, because my video I was doing was about Christ Consciousness. I went through a multitude of things. Anyways, that's not important. So I watched this video, but I didn't watch it all the way through. It's a 38-minute video. And the things that she was saying in here, this is the video I clicked on last night. I just went to the next random video, and it was this one. And I had watched it already, but I didn't really listen to it. So I was there cussing out my, spirit guides and higher self and source, God, angels, however you want to look at it. I was angry. And then I actually listened to this. This year, the past year, 2018, is all about releasing core wounds, releasing fears, old beliefs that don't serve you. Really everything that doesn't serve you. If you're not living a life where everyone is reflecting unconditional love to you, then you need to change. You need to make a change. Because if they're not reflecting unconditional love to you, then they're not serving your highest good. They're not in your best interest. Okay? They're literally damaging your spirit, your soul, yourself. And they're draining your energy. This is what it's all about. This is here, let's watch this. This is Lorie Ladd. She's fully embraced her calling as a light worker, I guess you could say. And she's going through the same things too, man. I mean, in 2018, once I became aware of all these spiritual things. Once I became aware of all these spiritual things that were going on here, I all of a sudden started having random images and thoughts pop into my head of memories, things that scared me. I was being forced, I don't know how to say forced, I was being led to transmute my fears into something positive. You have to remove your fears. Fear is not a natural state of being, and that will keep you from following your highest excitement. That will keep you from enjoying your life. That will keep you paralyzed with fear. You're not going to move very far. You're not going to progress very far in life if you're constantly living in fear. If you're too afraid to ever do anything, then you will never do anything of any importance in your life. We're all here for a reason. Actually, you know what? Let's go to this one first. You have a promise to keep. People are waiting for you.
We came down here as volunteers to wake up humanity at this specific time in history, which we know, a lot of us know, and if you don't know and you're listening to this, you volunteered to come down here at this time, that you have a very specific purpose to being here. And what also came to me was, not only did we come down here to volunteer, but there are thousands of individuals on this planet right now that contracted with you to wake up from your voice, to wake up from your mission. The purpose for you being here is to wake people up, and there are individuals waiting for you to share your message, to share your gifts. Before you came down onto this planet, these individuals and yourself contracted, and they said, you will wake me up. When you wake up, I will hear you, and I will wake up. And then it goes from them. They are what contracted to wake up people, and on and on and on.
That's beautiful, right? So if you're watching this video right now, it's because you were either led or you're meant to watch this video right now. My voice is probably supposed to wake you up. If you're still watching at this point, then you're interested in what I'm saying and what I'm showing you here, because this is very important. Now, back to my issue. So I've been purging all these negative emotions and fears and old beliefs all year, all 2018. And you need to do that in order to evolve to your next higher self, the next higher self, the things that serve your best intentions, that serve your best good. So let's see what Lorie Ladd. I love this lady.
Huge amount of I'll say this, there is a calling within all of us right now, or many of us right now, of going inward and reconnecting with the aspect of us that is our divinity, the aspect of us that is our light, the aspect of us that came down originally and encompassed this physical form. And there are all different types of words that you can use for it. It's a light body, because it is a body in light. It's a light body inside the physical form. It also holds a spark of the oneness that we all are, which is source, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is unity, love, the divine within every single one of us. And this can also be called Christ consciousness. It is a consciousness which reminds us of our divinity. So when I think about Christ consciousness, and I think about like Jesus walking the planet, or any other beautiful master that walked the planet teaching us who we are, reminding us to go back in and find the divine within us, it's a Christ consciousness. And you can call it whatever you want to call it. Okay, it doesn't really matter. But what it is coming back home to who we really are in a third dimensional matrix that's shifting into a fourth dimensional matrix that's shifting into a fifth dimensional matrix.
The ascension.
So we've got this aspect of us that we are being drawn back down into to remember. And as we are doing this right now, especially in the next 6 days, We're preparing ourselves to move into a higher state of consciousness.
This video was recorded on December 25th. So the next 6 days takes us to right now.
To literally live continuously in a higher state of consciousness, which means that we're clearing out the aspects of us that are holding us back from reconnecting to this divine aspect of us. Christ consciousness, unity consciousness, oneness, love, source, whatever you want to call it. The light of you. Right? It really doesn't matter as long as you know. And I'm moving into my heart because that's where I feel it. That's where I feel that divine spark. That's what I like to call it. A spark of my divinity.
That's what the Bible calls it too, by the way. You have the spark of divinity in you. You have a divine spark.
And what is
Christ is inside of you. God is inside of you.
what's happening is there's all this talk around, coming back into that love aspect of you, moving into that heart center, remembering the divine within you, the divinity that you are. There's all this talk about it, but what does it really mean? How do you really do that? What does that actually feel like? And one of the things that came through today was as we begin to be pulled into this crevice, this aspect of us, this divinity within us, imagining ourselves moving through this cave, we are also at the same time pushing aspects of us out of the way that has restricted us or held us back from touching that divine aspect of us, from just touching the surface of that Christ consciousness, the aspect of us that is everything and nothing at the same time, the aspect of us that is pure love, pure joy, pure bliss, that has no judgment, that just holds us unconditionally. The purity of us, the unconditional purity of us, that there is no right or wrong. There is no good or bad about us, right? And as we start to come into that space, pushing aspects of us away, we are literally clearing the pathway to snuggle deeper into this consciousness, this divine aspect of us. So what is happening right now in particular, and if you're watching this in 3 months or 4 months and 5 months, it's happening to you right now, because you have to remember that your higher self is always moving you to hear, listen, and receive the information and messages that you need to hear, receive, and understand right now. So when you are moving into this space more and more, and a lot of us are doing it without realizing it, right? A lot of us are moving into this divine aspect of us, this light within us, without really even knowing that we are. And what is happening is the aspects of us that have been very third dimensional, very human, that have kept us away from this piece of us is coming up. We're literally picking it up and bringing it out and saying, I'm done, right? So what's happening right now to so many of us are these core pieces of us, human aspects of us, not being loved, not being worthy, not feeling worthy, not being enough, self-hatred, loneliness, feeling this need to suffer or stay in suffering, lack mentality, whatever it is that's yours, that's a core aspect of you, meaning it has been with you for a very long time. Imagine that it has literally been a barrier between you, this third dimensional aspect of you, and this divine spark within you. And so what's happening right now, in such a beautiful way, is that we are literally getting to the core of our beingness and allowing these aspects of us that have stopped us from going directly into our purity, into our divinity, we're allowing them to be released. Sometimes this is conscious and sometimes this is conscious. So what's happening right now is these pieces of us are coming up to finally be released for the last time. So that when you step into 2019, you can be clearer, lighter. You can be more in touch with this aspect of you. What does that mean, in touch? It means you can feel it. You can experience what all these teachers are talking about. Move into your heart center. Move into your heart center. What does that mean? How do I do that? Move into your divine spark. Move into the Christ consciousness aspect of you, right? All these words. Move into that oneness, that unity consciousness. What the freak does that mean? How do I do that? We are doing it right now, very unconsciously, and we need to bring light to it. So what we're doing is we are literally being asked to come in. How many of you right now are feeling like you're going inward? I'm going inward. I'm going inward, right? You're going inward because your higher self is drawing you back into this one divine spark within you that is the you of you, that is the light of you, that is the divinity of you, that is an aspect of you that we all need to move into as we shift into 2019. And if you are listening to this in 2019, fabulous. We're all on different paths at different times. There's no right or wrong. But if you're listening to this right now and this message resonates with you, then understand this is what's happening. We're being called to go inward so that we can remember and tap into this aspect of us. Oh my God, I am okay. Oh my God, I am okay. I can unconditionally be accepted. I can unconditionally start to love myself. I can unconditionally hold all the aspects of me. And when we start to do that, when we start to move into that space, which is really challenging, when we start to move into that space of, holy cow, no matter what is happening, I'm okay. Wait a second. No matter what's going on around me, there is a piece of me inside. There is a divine light inside of me. Christ consciousness, oneness, source, God, soul, whatever you want to call it. It's there. It's there no matter what. And we have to start connecting to it. And when you start connecting to it, you can imagine that you're moving through this cave. And these pieces of us that need to be released so that we can snuggle into this space more and more are being released, which means that they are coming up to the surface. What's coming up to the surface for you right now? What is it? What is it? Because I guarantee you it's been coming up for a while, probably for many, many years, right? Coming up for many, many years. And there's aspects of you that are upset and frustrated that it's coming up once more. You're tired of it. You're sick and tired of it. You don't know how to release it. You don't know how to let it go. You feel like you've been doing all this work and it's still here. Yeah. And what these beautiful beings want to remind you is that this is literally kind of like the final push. It's like we've been diving and diving and diving, moving into the cave, moving into the cave, moving into the cave, getting closer and closer and closer to that divine spark without realizing that's what we were doing, getting closer to that divine spark and pushing away, pushing away, pushing away, or clearing out, clearing out, clearing out the aspects of us that no longer serve us and that cannot serve us when we step into this new year, right? And it can be aspects of us that we peel away, we keep going, oh, here it is again. We peel away, we keep going, oh, here it is again. We peel away, we keep going. And eventually there will be a final sort of peeling away of these aspects so that we can snuggle in to the divine piece of light that we are. Remembering this as we continue to move in our third dimensional, fourth dimensional, and eventually fifth dimensional reality.
Wow. I mean, wow. That hit me so freaking hard. I can't even tell you. That's exactly what's been happening to me all year. I've been forced, or these negative thoughts, these fears have been coming into my head all year. And it's like, it's like one at a time. One just, and it's something you don't even think about, you haven't thought about for a long time. Like, I'm talking about, I saw the Exorcist movie when I was like 5 years old, and it scarred me for life. I have repressed that memory. I haven't thought about it in decades. But now, like when this process started for me, that thought just boom popped right into my head. It was like, yep, you're gonna have to deal with this right now. And I did. I had to transmute that into something positive. That movie really screwed me up when I was a kid, dude. I was scared to death. And there's a lot of other things, a lot of other fears, a lot from movies that you hold on to, that you see. And then, I did a lot of damage in my younger years to other people, and a lot of that's coming up. And I have to, try to move into a state of forgiveness. You have to forgive yourself, because ultimately you're going to be the one that judges you. Your divinity is going to judge you. You judge yourself. You're not judged by anyone else. So all these things have been coming up, and I've been diving deeper and deeper inside. I hear all the time, it was Christ consciousness, it's an inside job. You got to go inside, you got to dig deep. So that's what I've been doing. I keep digging and digging and digging. Really, I'm not even digging, actually. These things are being forced into the forefront of my mind, so I have to deal with them. I don't have to. I could repress them, but I know I'm aware of what's going on here. So I consciously choose to sit down and deal with these emotions. And I've been doing that all year. 2018 is like a year of refinement. You're going to be refined. You have to deal with these. Now, this last push, from Christmas to now, it's whatever you haven't dealt with, the biggest issues you have, has just been building and building and building, and boom, it's like, yeah, there they are. Now you got to deal with them. So how are you going to handle it? And that's what happened to me yesterday. Everything came pouring down onto me at the same time. Like, I can't even describe to you. I'm not going to talk about it. But holy crap. It was an intense day, and I went rogue and negative in my thoughts, in my mind. It just wasn't serving myself, and I couldn't see the bigger picture until about 11:30 last night, when I was cussing out my spirit guides. I laid in bed, I put this video on without even choosing it. I'm pissed off, telling my higher self, like, I don't understand this. You're gonna have to help me here. If there's ever a time you decided to intervene in my life, now is that time. And I changed videos because I was irritated with the sound of the other one, because she kept dropping the camera. It was one of her videos from a long time ago. Sorry, Lorie, but I couldn't handle it. But then this video is just, wow, man, it really put things into perspective for me. And it was so crazy, because I was laying there and I'm like talking to myself, essentially, my higher self, and I'm just saying, like, I don't understand this. I don't get it. You're gonna have to tell me what this is. What is going on? Why is this happening? And the second I said that, it was like I was forced to tune into the video at that time. Like, I hadn't been listening to it. I think it was right around this point here, because I remember she just first started saying snuggling into your divinity, or your higher self there. And I remember that, and she kept saying that over and over again. But it was like right then in this video, like probably about 10 minutes in, I was forced to. I wasn't forced, but I was just boom, tuned in all of a sudden. And what she said was like, my guides, or my higher self, was directly talking to me, answering my question in full with this video. It was so astounding and so beautiful. I still have a lot to deal with, and I have to deal with it, and I have to deal with it in the way that serves my highest good, my best good, or I'm not going to move forward into my higher purpose. I think that's where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to move into a higher consciousness, a higher purpose, and actually start serving my purpose, why I came here. And part of that is to wake other people up. Once you wake up, you need to wake other people up. You've already made this agreement before entering into this life, before you volunteered to come here. We volunteered to experience this. Unfortunately, there's a lot of negative aspects and negative people in your life that are not serving your best good. I can't tell you how many times as a kid that I was like, I went to church and, I was like in the spirit with my father and we had a good time, and I was pumped, like I was high on Jesus when I was like a teenager, I'm talking about now. And before that, I'd never been exposed to religion. I grew up in, like, it was so dark. Like, I didn't even realize at the time, but I grew up in I was abused mentally my entire life. And it took till I was in my late 20s before I could remove myself from that situation and then look back, and then you look into the fishbowl and see all the fish swimming around and seeing how crazy it actually is. When you're in it, you don't see it because that's what you know. That's all I knew. I didn't know it was freaking psychotic, living with psychopaths, sociopaths, demons, It was so crazy. I had to get out. And I was still mentally in prison. I was in a thought prison, and I hadn't even realized it. And then once I was able to step through that, step out of that, and then these things started coming to me in huge waves. And here we are. Now it's the end of 2018. I mean, really, this started several years ago for me, and I just didn't know what it was. I was moving out of that state of consciousness into a higher state of consciousness and growing and growing and growing until, here we are. Now I'm at the final verge. The most core wounds, the most core aspects that are holding me back is what I'm being forced to deal with. They are coming to the forefront right now, and I have to figure a way to deal with that so I can evolve into my higher purpose, my higher consciousness. And that's what I wanted to tell you guys today. I wanted to share that with you. I hope that resonates with you. I know this video is probably getting pretty long here, but man, this stuff is so powerful. You should really I really hope you got something out of this. Like I said, if you're watching this right now, you're watching it for a reason. Don't just put these emotions that you're feeling to the side. If these things are coming up into your mind, don't just wipe them aside. This is important. Your higher self is telling you need to deal with this. You need to handle this. You need to confront this before you can move on. You're being refined to move back into that spark of divinity that's inside of you. You are special. You are loved. Anyone that doesn't think that, anyone that isn't loving you unconditionally 100% of the time to the best of their ability is not serving your highest good. And they are actually bringing you down and away from your purpose work, from what you are here to do. I love each and every one of you. Happy New Year.